Russia will not export petrol for 4 months. The ban will begin on April 1st and continue until July 31st. Russia has decided to halt petrol exports during this period. Deputy Prime Minister Alexander Novak has instructed the Energy Ministry to prepare this proposal. According to Russia, this move is aimed at maintaining domestic supply and controlling fuel prices. Novak stated that due to the ongoing tensions between Israel and Iran, instability has increased in the global oil and petroleum market, leading to price fluctuations. When we observe this entire development, it does not appear to be merely an economic decision or a disturbance in the oil market. Rather, it points toward an unseen force that governs the balance of the entire world. Because whatever happens in this world is not solely the result of human planning. It is also a part of a greater divine system, which we may attempt to understand but can never fully comprehend. Today, as Russia has decided to stop petrol exports from April 1st to July 31st, it is not just a political or economic move. It can also be seen as a small part of a larger cosmic play, where every country, every leader, and every decision unfolds according to an unseen plan. The decision taken by Alexander Novak reflects how global powers act based on our interests, yet behind these actions lies a deeper balance. When instability rises in one part of the world, such as the tensions in the Middle East between Israel and Iran, it does not remain confined to that region. Instead, it affects the global economic and energy balance. This is where we can understand how nature and a higher power connect the entire world. A decision made in one country impacts the economy of another, the trade of a third, and the daily lives of people in a fourth. This interconnected chain can be understood not only from a material perspective, but also from a spiritual one. Russia exports approximately 120,000 to 170,000 barrels of petrol per day. When this supply stops, countries like China, Turkey, Brazil, Africa, and Singapore are significantly affected. However, the impact on India is expected to be relatively limited. This is because India primarily imports crude oil rather than refined petrol. India, which has long been a center of spiritual wisdom, appears less affected in this situation. This is not merely a coincidence, but seems like part of a larger design. India has developed the capability to refine crude oil domestically into petrol and diesel. This self-reliance is not only economically important, but also spiritually significant, as ancient wisdom suggests that true independence comes from self-sufficiency. India imports around 80% of its crude oil needs, and about 20% of that comes from Russia. However, instead of relying on finished fuel, India focuses on processing raw resources according to its needs. This reflects a deeper life principle. Rather than accepting circumstances as they are, one should develop the ability to transform them. Another important reason behind Russia's decision is to ensure fuel availability and price stability within its domestic market. When resources become scarce within a country, the direct impact is felt by its people. This teaches us that stability must first be achieved internally before focusing outward, just as a seeker stabilizes the mind before engaging with the world. However, this decision will also affect the global market. When supply decreases while demand remains constant, prices naturally rise. Oil prices are already hovering above $100 per barrel. This situation reminds us that in the material world, everything is limited, and scarcity increases value. From a spiritual perspective, however, true wealth does not lie in external resources, but in inner contentment. Still, in the physical world, these resources are essential, and their fluctuations impact everyone's life. Russia has taken similar steps before, especially when its refineries were affected by attacks related to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. This shows how geopolitical tensions and wars influence economic decisions. Looking deeper, this too can be seen as part of a cycle of action and reaction, where every decision has a cause behind it. Meanwhile, India has taken advantage of the situation by purchasing large quantities of crude oil from Russia. For April alone, deals worth approximately 60 million barrels have been made. This demonstrates how one country can turn another situation into an opportunity. However, there is also a shift. Russian oil, which was previously available in India at discounted rates, is now being bought at a premium, about $5 to $15 above Brent crude prices. This highlights how circumstances change over time, and what was once beneficial can become challenging.